Enduro nutrition for the Sunraysia Safari Rally. So one of the problems that I see for this event, so obviously you're riding over 4 days, okay, which is a fair bit of riding and racing. Now, sometimes you can get away with having subpar quality nutrition or training, especially if it's a 1-day event. When you're doing a 4-day event, it's not going to be a very fun experience. So one of the problems that I see for Sunraysia Safari is riders will put a lot of effort into the training side and the fitness side. And that's definitely important. But it doesn't matter how fit you are. You can have an Olympic level of fitness. If your nutrition is terrible, you're going to feel terrible on day 2, day 3, and day 4. So I would say nutrition is probably more important for this event than the actual fitness side, although the fitness and the strength is important as well. So in this video, I'm going to go through how to get your body to recharge to the best of its ability at the end of each day, so you can make sure you put in a good effort for all 4 days of riding, not just on the first day when you feel fresh. So a couple of things that I've got written down here. So first thing that we need to understand is that your body is burning calories, okay? And calories are just energy. So we burn off calories by doing exercise or riding, and we're taking calories through food, okay? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got enough calories and enough energy coming in through our food to replace what we're burning off throughout the day through 4, 5, 6 hours of riding. So 4, 5, 6 hours of riding, depending on your ability, depending on how hard you're pushing, depending on how fit you are, you could be burning anywhere 2, 3, 4,000 calories over that period of time of riding. So what we want to do is make sure that we've got enough coming in at the end of the day to replace what we've lost. So when we start the next day, we're starting even. Whereas what happens for a lot of riders is they start depleted on day 2 because they haven't recharged and topped up properly from day 1. So how do you do this? What do you actually do? So there's a few things that you can do during the ride. You can have Powerade in your camelback. You can use carbohydrate gels and things like that, which I've shared in other videos. But the main thing that you want to be doing is at the end or after every ride day, you want to be trying to bank up those calories that you've just burnt through. So if you've burnt through, say, 2,000 calories, then we want to do things after the ride to try and replace those 2,000 calories that we've just lost. And so the best way to be able to do that is through getting in some good quality food. So preferably you want to have some protein going in, you want to have some fats going in, and you want to have some carbohydrates going in. If we can use good quality food, that's great. Sometimes in these situations for these events, sometimes it's even good to get in foods that may not be perceived as healthy, but are quite high in calories and are going to allow you to replace the energy that you've just lost. So you might have, say, for example, like a bowl of ice cream. You might have a decent, I think like a tub of Ben & Jerry's is 1,200 calories. And the reason I know that is because I've had a fair few tubs over the years. So a tub of Ben & Jerry's is 1,200 calories. So half a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream might be about 600 calories. So if you are struggling to get the calories in at the end of the day, you burnt off 2,000 calories just from the ride itself, and you're trying to replace some of the energy, then maybe an option for you is have your steak, have your fats, maybe a bit of avocado, and have your carbs, maybe some mashed potato, and then maybe have half a tub of ice cream at the end of the day to get 600 calories in. What that's going to help to do is just replace some of the carbs that you've lost so that you're recharged and then you're ready to go for day 2. Other thing that I was going to mention, so that's really the whole premise, is it's just making sure that you're not depleted of energy. And that's what I find happens each year, or when the event has been run, especially for multi-day events, is just riders will run out of energy. So they only worry about trying to regain energy on day 3 and day 4 when they're actually really screwed and really feel terrible. It is very hard to try and replace energy when it's already depleted while you're continuing to burn more energy with riding, right? So in other words, if you get to day 3 and you're feeling your energy is really, really low and you've hit the wall, it's going to be very hard to turn that around. So that's why it's really important to get on top of this stuff at the start on day 1 and on day 2, when you might not feel that it's as important, but knowing you're doing those things to set you up for day 3 and day 4. What to avoid here is underfueling, as I've already said. Okay, you want to avoid at all costs not getting enough energy, not getting enough fuel in after or at the end of every ride day. You really want to make sure that you're on top of that. How do you know how many calories you're burning on a ride? Very good question. A way that you can test this is you can find out from other people if they've used, like, I've got what's called a Whoop strap, WHOOP. I think it costs $45 a month, so you can get hold of one of them. And they're actually quite good for riding because they're very slimline as well, whereas watches tend to get a little bit bulky and can get in the way a little bit more. And the strap is actually quite comfy as well. So that's something that you might be interested in. What this will do is give you a breakdown every time you go for a ride. It'll tell you how many, where your heart rate is and where it's got to and what your maximum heart rate is and what your average was and all that sort of stuff. But it will also tell you how many calories you burnt throughout that session. So what you can do is when you go on a practice ride, you put or keep your Whoop strap on. It will tell you how many calories that you've burnt over, say, a 3-hour ride. And then you can use that data as a rough estimate for when you go racing. So if you went for an enduro ride for 3 hours and you burnt 1,000 calories, then you could probably say, okay, if I did 6 hours at similar type riding, similar pace, I'd probably burn 2,000 calories. And then you can use that as a gauge for the event. So you don't have to use a Whoop strap. You can use some heart rate monitors. You can use that can buy with a strap, or you can buy like a Garmin watch. You can use an Apple Watch, which will give you similar metrics. And that is probably about it. Phone, yeah, I think Apple Watch is probably going to be the best or one of the easier options. But yeah, any device that you can get that tracks calories and heart rate is going to be able to give you a rough idea. And then, so if you know that you're burning roughly 2,000 calories throughout just in the riding section, then you know on top of your normal food, you need to get an extra 2,000 calories in at the end of the day. And it'll just make sure you recharge for all 4 days. If you'd like some help with this stuff, whether you're getting ready for, well, probably not for this year because it's going to be a little bit late, but if you want to start getting ready for next year, or you've got another multi-day event that you want to make sure you've got your nutrition and training and everything dialed in for, you can apply to work with me. I only do take on a small amount of riders at a time because that's all we've got space for. So if you're interested, you can apply. I'll put the link for my Faster Laps program down below.